guys, Dr. Cinema here. So, another Comic Con has come and gone, and quite a few stuff was announced and talked about at SDCC this year. But of course, the main thing about SDCC this year, like most years, is what's Marvel up to now? Especially now we've gone past Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, Phase 3 is officially over, the Infinity Saga officially over. So, where do you go from here? Now let's start with the TV side of things. I know it's not as exciting as the movies, but let's just briefly go over them. So the ABC show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., will have a seventh season, but that seventh season will also be its last. Personally, I'm fine with that. I mean, I haven't seen anything past season 4, and even then I only watched that much because I wanted to see the new Ghost Rider, who I am very pleased with. But seriously, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually a fairly decent show. But again, I'm not really losing any sleep over the fact that it's ending. Like I said, I haven't seen anything past season 4. But it was a big reveal, so there you go. Now, there are Disney Plus original programming that were talked about a little bit. However, none of the 4 Disney Plus original Marvel shows, well, I guess 5, none of those will be ready at launch later this year when the Disney Plus streaming service comes out. Which I thought was a little odd. I mean, I would have expected like one of those shows would have an episode ready at launch, but I suppose they don't really need to do that. But anyway, so the Falcon and Winter Soldier show will be the first one to premiere in fall of 2020. Then it's followed by WandaVision sometime in spring in 2021. Loki also spring 2021. And then we got the Hawkeye show coming in fall 2021. That's really all I can say about this right now. And I will come back to one of those shows a little bit. But now let's actually move on to the movies. So now we have the Phase 4 slate to talk about. Now Kevin Feige confirmed that technically Phase 4 is only 5 movies over the course of 2 years. The reason behind this was because when he announced like the entire Phase 3 slate several years ago, so much has changed that, I mean, they've dropped movies originally in Phase 3, they've delayed several films, they've added a couple of films because of the Spider-Man inclusion. So he figures a more short-term like window and slate for future Marvel movies is the best way to go, which makes sense. But anyway, let's talk about the 5 official Phase 4 films. We have the Black Widow film coming out on May 1st, 2020. It will take place between the events of Civil War and Infinity War. And the villain will be Taskmaster. Now, I don't really know anything about I know a little bit about Taskmaster. Whenever I come across him in Marvel Comics, it's always in a Deadpool comic. And he's basically a mercenary with a skill that he's able to basically copy the fighting style of anyone. And I guess he also like trains people who want to like become like villain henchmen or something like that. Anyway, I just like the physical design of the character, and the character is kind of cool from his appearances that in the Deadpool comics I sometimes see him in. So it will be interesting to see how he's handled this film. And the setting between Civil War and Infinity War is an interesting pick. I personally would have liked to actually know what the hell is Budapest. But maybe we'll get to learn a little bit more about that in this film, maybe in a flashback or something. I don't know. Anyway, so on November 6th, 2020, we'll have another Marvel movie, The Eternals. I don't really know anything about the Eternals. I mean, I know Thanos was one that was born with deviant syndrome, and I know they were created by Jack Kirby, and that the species was the result of experimentations by the Celestials on planet Earth. But I don't really know any like specific character from the race. I don't really know anything much about them. So I guess it'll be interesting to see them on the big screen, I guess. I get to learn more about them. And they have a lot of people lined up to play a lot of different roles. I mean, it looks to be a pretty star-studded cast, actually. Now, on February 21st, 2021, we're getting Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Stupid long title. Now, I know nothing about Shang-Chi at all. But I love a good martial arts film, so this should be kind of exciting. And the villain of this film will be the Mandarin. And if that sounds familiar to some of you, the Mandarin was a villain in Iron Man 3. But the big twist of that film was that the guy that we were supposed to believe was the Mandarin was actually just hired by an actor by an evil corporation to pose as the Mandarin, while the actual real villain in the film was able to do his stuff in relative peace. But there was a one shot that was released sometime after Iron Man 3, which confirmed that the Mandarin from that film wasn't the fake one and that there is a real Mandarin out there somewhere in the Marvel universe. And to actually see him in Shang-Chi feels like a nice little callback to like those early days of Marvel, and to actually see a good version of the Mandarin is going to be pretty cool too. Now, on May 7th, 2021, we're getting Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Somehow an even longer title than the last film. So this will be the Doctor Strange sequel. And honestly, I'm actually really excited for this one. I mean, I really liked the 2016 film. And I like the character Doctor Strange in general. And to hear that they're going for more of like a horror angle for this film has to be pretty pumped up for that. Plus, they're going to have Scarlet Witch in some sort of role in this film. And I want to see more Scarlet Witch in the MCU. Also, one of the Disney Plus original shows, WandaVision, is going to have some sort of a connection between the show and this film. Now, we've had plenty of TV shows, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, Jessica Jones, reference big events from the movies, but we never had the movies have any kind of like actual direct reference to the Marvel, to any TV show. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about with that. But again, super excited for this one. Then the official final film of Phase 4, November 5th, 2021. It's the biggest surprise of the slate. A fourth Thor film, officially called Thor Love and Thunder. Chris Hemsworth is back. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie is back. Taika Waititi is back to write and direct. Well, to direct for sure. I'm not sure if he actually wrote Thor Ragnarok or part of. Taika Waititi is back. But the biggest surprise return for this Thor film is Natalie Portman coming back as Jane Foster and going to become a new female Thor, officially called Mighty Thor. I'm going to do a separate video talking about Thor Love and Thunder specifically, so that's all I'm going to say for this film right now. But that is the official Phase 4 slate. Now, of course, at Comic-Con, they announced that they were working on several other films beyond these films in various stages of pre-production at the moment. Now, let's address the biggest elephant in the room, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I mean, James Gunn is back, writing and directing, that's good, but because of the whole fiasco, we don't really know when this film is going to come out. I mean, the earliest guess would be like 2022, although my bet's personally on 2023. And since Thor 4 is coming out before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it will be a little interesting to see how they deal with the fact that at the end of Endgame, Thor was with the Guardians. Now in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, no Thor, assumingly. It's just going to be interesting. And of course, another film they said they're working on right now is Captain Marvel 2. It's gotta be better than the first Captain Marvel film. Please, it's just gotta be better. Another film that they're working on is Black Panther 2. I'm honestly actually surprised Black Panther 2 is not officially part of the Phase 4 slate. But hopefully, like after Thor 4, it's like the first one out of the gate because I want to know more. I want to go back to Wakanda. I want to meet back with T'Challa and everyone else. Now, and they're also apparently working on a Fantastic Four film. This is actually kind of big. I mean, a Fantastic Four film. That franchise has had a very rough go. I mean, the 2015 film, absolute shit. The 2000s films, technically better, but still bad. Honestly, the only version I actually liked was like the 90s film that was never released. I know you're saying, well, that's one of the worst comic movies of all time. If you're saying that, you haven't actually watched it. It's actually enjoyably good. Anyway, they're working on Fantastic Four film. That's actually pretty exciting. Now, while they didn't mention they're actually working on a movie right now, they didn't explicitly say that, but they did confirm that the X-Men will come to the MCU. But again, they didn't explicitly say they're currently working on a movie related to the X-Men franchise right now. So who knows when that's going to come out. But now this next batch of info is arguably the biggest surprise. They're working on a Blade movie, and they have Mahershala Ali going to playing the title character because he actually called Marvel Studios and asked to play Blade. This is big. Yes, I know, a new Blade movie. Actually, now that I think about it, this does raise several issues. Mahershala Ali is a great actor. I really like him. But he was already in another Marvel project. First season, Luke Cage, the villain Cottonmouth, played by Mahershala Ali. Those were shows that constantly reference big events from the Marvel films. So from the TV side of things, they saw themselves as part of the MCU. But, like the other TV shows, the movies never really made any direct reference to them. I mean, there was one scene in Civil War where Tony was talking to a US female senator that has a recurring role in Luke Cage, but even in the film, she was played by a completely different actress. So the fact that Marvel movies has an actor playing a major role, even though he played a pretty big role on the Marvel Netflix show side, this basically just confirms they don't really care about the Marvel Netflix shows, which is kind of like a huge middle finger to them. They're really giving them the shaft on that one. And another issue, part of the reason why the first Blade movie was such a unique experience was that it was an R-rated comic book film. Something that back then was still kind of a rarity, and even more rarity, it was actually a good R-rated comic book film. So, is this going to be R-rated? I mean, chances are no, but part of the reason why Blade was so enjoyed is because of its R-rated action and language. To take out that does take out a good part of the enjoyability of someone like Blade. I mean, let's face it, before that first 90s film, Blade wasn't really a mainstream hero. He wasn't really someone that had a lot of popularity before his film. He was a little bit more on the obscure side of things. So, how are they going to approach a Blade movie? Well, while there are some questions and maybe a couple of issues that were brought up this year, Marvel looks like they got a pretty good handle of what they want to do moving forward. And yeah, I'm going to do a complete separate video talking about Thor 4, but that's all I have to say for the big scope Marvel side of things for right now. So like, comment, subscribe, share. Which movies are you most excited for? What are your thoughts? And I'll see you guys next time.